Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Madison Carmouche. Eastern Kentucky healthcare professionals are working to catch lung cancer before it's too late. WYMT's RJ Johnson shares why getting screened early is important.
Throughout the region, ARH officials are working to help catch lung cancer early.
It's increased a lot. Like, we've done a lot more, mostly really in the recent couple of years. It started off kind of slow. People really didn't know what they were, what to expect.
Adrienne Pratt with Hazard ARH says they are hosting screenings for folks at risk to cancer. She says they are seeing more younger people than before.
They are catching lung cancers or just pulmonary nodules in patients at a lot younger age than they were before. The earlier you catch it, the better off you are. So in these patients, we're scanning patients in their 50s now, when at first you didn't scan age groups that young. And in the region we live in, cancer's pretty common.
She says there are multiple boxes people have to check before getting tested.
It goes by age, it goes by how many pack years, which basically is how many packs of cigarettes you ever smoked in a year's time, or bi-weekly.
However, Pratt says the earlier you get screened, the better outcomes tend to be.
That I have seen patients come in to have these scans done that had no clue that they maybe had something going on kind of early on. It made a huge difference that they had this screening. Otherwise, they would have never had it until they probably were symptomatic. And by then, you know, it might have been too far along for them to be able to treat it properly.
In Hazard, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Pratt says in recent years, they changed the minimum age from the 60s to early 50s to help catch cancer as early as possible. The family of Bishop Willie Lamb announced he died on June 22nd. Lamb was born in the McRoberts community, where the community dedicated a bench in his honor a few years ago. Lamb was also the recipient of the 2022 Eastern Kentucky Leadership Carolyn Sunday Award. His arrangements will be hosted at the Church of God Militant Pillar and Ground of Truth at noon on July 6th in Akron, Ohio. Bishop Willie Lamb was 100 years old. One person was injured in a two-vehicle collision in Pulaski County this morning. Officials with the Somerset Fire Department say it happened at traffic light 23 in Somerset. Multiple crews responded to the scene. One person was taken to the hospital for their injuries. One firefighter in Boyle County is taking the holiday as a time to inform people of the traumatic things first responders go through on the job. Mike McCurdy is working with those selling fireworks while raising awareness for Mend the Line. It's an awareness and fundraising campaign about the trauma first responders encounter every day, every week, and every year.
They're being called out more, seeing more traumatic events, which in turn, does add to their stress.
Profits from these fireworks sales will go toward education, counseling, and travel to specialized PTSD sites to help first responders confront traumatic events. In May, a group of friends in Winchester and the Lexington area organized the first ever Holler Festival. They brought together live music, food, drinks, and more at Haywood Farm. The plan was for 100% of the proceeds to go to Harlan County families struggling with food insecurity. They raised over $10,000, and today that plan was realized. Holler Revival came together to deliver beef to 11 families. Organizer Luna Helton says she is grateful to be able to help families and offset costs in the summer months.
Some of us are from Harlan County, so being from here is a special place for us. We wanted to reach out to give just a bump up to help people. It's a hard time right now, so we wanted to give some assistance, and so we chose Harlan, and we had a great turnout for our festival this year.
The owners of Haywood Farm donated the meat. The 11 families were able to receive about 50 pounds of beef, including hot dogs, ground beef, and more. They were even able to give out freezers. Helton says the group plans to have another festival in May with details to come.
It's been a roller coaster of a week with temps and rain, but that's going to continue into July. Taking a look right now at our London Corbin Airport cam, sitting at 90 degrees right now. A few white fluffy clouds out there trying to form what we think will be storms later in the day. Current temperature sitting at 90 all across eastern Kentucky, 91 Somerset, 92 in Manchester, 90 in Jackson. And we are tracking the possibility of severe storms today throughout all of eastern Kentucky. Our entire viewing area is in that level 1 out of 5 marginal risk, and there is a level 2 out of 5 for northern parts of Wayne and Rowan counties. And Pinpoint Doppler right now not showing anything at all. A little bit of clutter and storms off to our east in West Virginia. But right now, all clear. But when we are looking at those storms, we want you to download the WYMT First Alert Weather app, available on Apple and Android. That QR code in the top right will lead you right there. Looking at our planner for the rest of the night, as we get later into the evening, into the overnight, that's when our rain chances increase. And by the time we get into tomorrow morning, we could see some more scattered thunderstorms. Madison?
All right, Drake, thank you. Earlier this month, Corbin hosted its annual Burger Week, where 13 different locations and restaurants surrounding downtown Corbin area compete against each other to find out who has the best burgers in town. And on Thursday, the winner was announced. Old Town Grill of Corbin was crowned the 2024 champion of Burger Week. Old Town is used to winning, with this being the third year in a row winning the title. The Jam and Bacon Burger was seen as the best burger out of the 13 restaurants competed in the event. People say it still amazes them how Old Town Grill can keep coming up with these great burgers.
They impress every year. Last year we had the Swag Burger that won. The year before, I don't remember the burger off the top of my head, but I mean, we've been fortunate. And they come up with these burgers. I don't know how. They're creative.
Even with the fresh win on the minds of the staff at Old Town Grill, officials said they are focused on winning next year's Burger Week and upcoming Dessert Week in October. Community members in Corbin also came together to buy and sell and trade cards of all kinds, from Pokemon to Magic cards. The Corbin Civic Center hosted this month's Corbin Card Show. Vendors and collectors throughout eastern Kentucky came to see if they could find and sell rare cards. Organizers say access to phones, tablets, and TVs are diminishing interest in the art of card collecting. But with summer in full swing, organizers say there is no better time to get into it.
Well, it's something they can do with their family, like maybe their dad's really into it, or their mom. It's something that in the long run can be worth a lot of money down the road. And it's just a thrill if you come across a unique card that maybe nobody else has or you've been looking for.
Normally, the Corbin Civic Center hosts a card show every month, but in July, there won't be one because Corbin Con is coming on July 27th and 28th to the Civic Center. Lovers of classic cars flocked to the Kentucky Horse Park this morning to show off their rides and get to know some state troopers. Today was the second annual Kentucky State Police Classics, Customs, and Cruisers Car Show. Samantha Valentino shows us how the event will help troopers be more involved in the communities they serve.
At a car show, every car has a story.
It's a 1978 pace car, the first year that Corvette was ever used for a pace car.
They often take us on a drive down memory lane.
This is a 1967 Oldsmobile 442. This was my dating car in high school.
For retired KSP Trooper Mark Cool, his car of choice takes him back to his days in uniform.
I worked out of the Richmond post, and I drove one of the KSP Mustangs as part of my duties as a state trooper. So I had a place in my heart for these old cars.
Cole says KSP bought 10 of these Mustangs back in 1985. Unlike your typical patrol vehicle, they were only used for speed enforcement. Because there are so few of them, he had to have one when they hit auction. He's since fully restored it.
It's got all the equipment that it would have had the day it was in service. Got radar, VASCAR, radios, blue lights, and the sirens.
It's the perfect car for this car show, as the money raised is supporting KSP's Kentucky Trooper Outreach Program,
which is a somewhat newer nonprofit 501c3 organization that we put together to benefit a lot of the community engagement and outreach programs, events, just things that we participate in year-round all across the state of Kentucky to benefit mostly children, but also families.
Sergeant Matt Suddeth says their work includes hosting community events or initiatives like the Trooper Teddy Project or their Safety Town exhibit at the Kentucky State Fair.
Yes, we've got a job to do, but we're a part of the Commonwealth, and we're here not just to serve, but we're part of the state of Kentucky too.
In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
If you'd like to support KSP's Kentucky Trooper Outreach Program, you can find a link in this story on our website, WYMT.com. Coming up, we'll tell you what you need to know about our friends that slither as temperatures heat up.
We are tracking the possibility of storms from this evening into tomorrow afternoon. I will have the details on when and where in just a few minutes.